Om Shri Sai Ram. From today's class, let us discuss about states of matter. Depending upon the arrangement of the particles in a ma- depending upon the arrangement of the particles in a matter, different states of matter are recognized. For example, uh, there are different substances around us. For example, a, a fan, a wall, a vessel, and a water and air. All these things are there. They are they are made up of particles, but they are looking differently, and their shape are different and their properties are different because their arrangement of the particles inside the vessel or inside that substance is different, are in different manner. That's why we have different states of matter. Matter is identified in three forms: solid, liquid, and gas. In solids, particles are densely and orderly arranged. Example: stone, iron, etc. Example for solid, the how the particles are arranged in the solids you can see here. You can see here. Okay. Now, in liquids, the particles are loosely arranged when compared to solids. Example: water, milk, etc. You can see how the particles are arranged in liquids. They are arranged very far away. They are loosely arranged. They are not very densely packed. Okay. In gases, the particles are rarely arranged. Example: air, smoke, etc. To see whether how the particles are arranged in the gas, you can see this picture. You can see this picture. They are rarely arranged. They are very far away. The particles are very far away. Now, let me give you an activity. List out the materials that you know which are in the form of solid, liquid, and gas. Let us give examples for solid. Let us give examples for liquid. Let us give example for gases. Example for solids are brick, coin, iron bar, banana, rock, sand, glass, aluminium foil, ice, wood. Actually, glass is not the solid. Actually, they have given wrongly. Uh, Glass is not a solid. Glass is highly viscous liquid. It flows, but it takes time. But if the glass flows, it takes until at least 170 years to flow from one place to another. But it is highly viscous liquid. It is not a solid. Examples for liquid include blood, honey, wine, water, mercury. Mercury is a liquid metal, oil, milk, acetone, alcohol, and coffee. Examples for gases are air, natural gas, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, freon, ozone, nitrogen, argon, and natural gases. These are all example names of the gases which you may not have heard, but they are the examples for gases. Let us conduct an experiment to know that the particles are loosely distributed in a liquid. Take a beaker completely filled to the brim of the water. Drop 3 marbles inside it. Now water spills out. Why? Think and write it. Okay. If you have taken a brim of water and if it is full, if the water is full in the container, and if you put some marbles inside, the water spills out because The marble occupies some space inside the liquid, and the liquid or the water does not have any space inside the container. So to occupy to occupy some space, some water comes outside and occupies the space which is outside. That's why the water spills out. Okay. Okay. Take another beaker of the same size, completely filled with water. Add some sugar powder of equal to the weight of the three marbles. Did you find any difference in the water level? Observe and write it. So if you take some sugar powder and add to the water, which is full inside the container, the water does not comes out, because the particles of sugar the particles of sugar break down when it is put into the water, and they occupy some space which is in between the particles. Because in liquids, as we discussed, it is not like solids. In solids, the particles are densely packed. In liquid, the particles are rarely packed. They are loosely packed. They are away from each other. Since they are away from each other, there is some space between each particle. So when sugar is added, the sugar molecules or sugar particles comes and occupies the space in between the two particles of water. Place a marble on a table, plate, beaker and so on. Did you find any difference in the shape and size of it? Shape and size of the solids in any place do not change. So if you keep some marble, plate, beaker and so on in some place, it does not change after it does not change its shape or structure how much how much ever you keep, because the solid does not have the property of changing its shape. Pour water into the beaker, plate, polythene bag, etc. Do you find any difference in the shape? Of course, when water is kept in a container, water is kept in different places, it takes the shape of the container. So solids do not change their shape, but liquids take the shape of the container when put into different containers. Liquids take the shape of the container but does not change its size. Light an incense stick and allow its smoke to spread inside the jar. What shape of the smoke? What is the shape of the smoke now? So the shape of the smoke is like the jar itself. When you put some smoke inside the jar and close the jar, the smoke takes the shape of the jar itself. The smoke takes the shape of the volume of the jar. Okay. So gases spread over the entire space of the container and its volume changes. Now let us have an activity or an experiment. Let us conduct an experiment to note that the air has weight. So have a stick and tie it in the middle and hang it. Yes, tie it at the center and hang it. And at the two sides of the stick, tie two balloons, and one of the balloons you blow some air, and in another balloon you don't blow the air. And when you hang the stick in the center, the stick bends towards the balloon which contains air. This shows that the air has weight. Observe the picture given below. Do this activity with the help of your parents. Place a glass beaker filled with water on plain surface and observe. Okay, if you put some water on the beaker, you observe the shape of the water and you take the beaker and bend little bit and you observe the shape of the water. So however you bend, the water takes the shape as the container. If the container is slant, the water is also slant. If the container is straight, the water is also straight. And even if you put some smoke in the jar, a little bit smoke in the jar, not full, half of the jar is filled with smoke, and if however you bend the jar, the smoke takes the shape of that shape. For example, you have kept the jar in a straight line, so the smoke takes the shape which is in the straight line. If the smoke jar is bent in the slanting way, so the smoke occupies the takes the slanting shape. So gas occupies the shape of the container. Now let us study the effect of heat on matter. Let us do an experiment. As shown in the picture, fix a metallic ring to a stand so that a bob can just pass through it. Bob means a ball, iron ball. Take a pendulum on the iron bob and try to pass through the ring, as shown in the figure. See, as shown in the figure, you can see here. Just pass. If you pass through it, the bob and the thread passes through the ring. It passes through the ring, and after some time, if you heat the iron bob, and then if you try to pass the bob through the ring, the bob does not pass through the ring. It holds the ring and it gets caught up in the ring. Why it is like that? It does not. First it was passing through the ring, but now it is not passing through the ring. Why it is like that? Because when you heated the bob, the particles inside the bob expanded. So it occupied larger space, so it did not pass through the ring. So similarly, when you take an ice cube from the freezer, it will be in the solid state. Afterwards, after some time, when you expose it to heat, the ice turns into water. Why it is like that? Because due to the heat, the particles in the ice move away from each other, and turns into liquid state. So these are all some of the examples of the heat. How is the effect of the heat on the particles? Thank you. Om Shri Sai Ram.